Refill me that my beer. Oh, let me go grab it. All right, buddy.
Get started?
Yes.
Welcome to the Logjam, socially distanced Logjam today. Couple of reasons. There are some outbreaks. League meeting coming up this week. We want to make sure that everyone is being safe. Plus, it is rivalry week here on the Jam.
It is. This is the Logjam matchup this week. We'll get into that later, but this is that week where we like to, maybe not exchange as many pleasantries and the old trick handshake and all that other stuff. You know,
A little icier on the set than
game
than
faces.
some weeks.
I like the game faces. You know,
It is.
focus.
Do or die for the Avengers, certainly.
Yeah.
But great things. The social distance also has given us probably not as much a chance to do some interviews as we would have liked to have done.
No, I mean, normally, and most of you know this that are in the league, we reach out to you during the season. We say, hey, can you come on the set? We like to try to get everybody on once during the year, just to, give you your little cameo shot. And
haven't done that so much this year. We didn't get to. We had a couple of appearances from Poway. We got Daddy on set, but we were thinking about maybe trying to ring up back on the East Coast. Maybe Gary Israelson.
Well, yeah, this has been. There's a couple failed attempts actually. I think it feels like because we keep saying, hey, maybe we're gonna get Billy on the line, traveling home, or with Poway, or maybe we'll get Gary. But it ends up being that you and I are doing this podcast at freaking 1 a.m. or whatever, which back in the East Coast is, no, it's 4 a.m. So we don't expect Gary to stay up until 4 a.m. But hopefully, one of these times this will work. And from what we hear, we may be getting him. So
I think we might have contact with Gary on the phone. Let's see if we can bring him up. Gary, you there, buddy?
He should be.
I'm here.
What?
Oh, hey!
He's been standing here the whole time. Get up on that stool, Gary.
I am.
We have the owner of the Scoregasms, Rookie of the Year. I think that's pretty much settled.
Cheers.
Because
he is the only rookie,
right,
so I think regardless, was going to be the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
But probably a surprise.
But we're announcing it tonight, which is exciting.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Logjam Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
I'll take it.
I heard that about you. Anyway, there was so many opportunities. But welcome to both the Logjam and welcome back to Arizona. Welcome back to league activities. Not that you're probably one of the most active guys, but you know what I mean. Welcome back to the confines of where we get together.
First official appearance on the Logjam as a member of the League of Gentlemen.
That's awesome.
That's true.
That is true.
I made it kind of from the black market once. Came in,
Yep.
But
Blacked out market, possibly?
yes, yeah, definitely blacked out market.
Yes. Well, welcome to officially. You're going to be able to be at the mid-season meeting now, which is exciting because you'll be able to wheel and deal. Trades are a little easier when you're physically present.
How about a little overview? What do you think? What are your thoughts on the league so far?
Amazing league. Probably the most organized fantasy sports league that I've ever been in, and I've done baseball and football going back 15 years now.
Nice.
Like I've said in text before, there's a goddamn podcast, which we're on right now.
Yes.
20-page rule book. Pretty awesome league.
Well, the 20-page rule book, is awesome. Although probably most of us don't read it all the time. But we got to give credit to
your predecessor.
Your
The reason you make it, you are the new REK.
Right, and the reason that probably you're 7-3 is
I disagree on that.
Well,
I mean, here's your chance to defend yourself. You were gifted a roster.
I was going to say I'm a reason that you're not.
Well,
Aaron Rodgers was a tough decision to keep, was he?
Somewhat. I don't know if I'm keeping him next year. He might go on the trade block.
Oh,
That's a good.
everyone's on the trade block in the score, guys. If we know anything from the first year of your appearance in the League of Gentlemen, you have filled Ari's shoes in that sense.
And the wheel of dealing, yeah. And then that was Ari too. Not that you have to be Ari. We're hoping that you're not, but it's just nice to have such a what we feel like is a good, almost like a really quality, perfect fit. Right into the league. So feels like you've been here a while.
Appreciate it. Thanks, gents.
Yeah. Cheers. So for those of you watching at home, once again, just real quick, if you haven't met Gary, this is the owner of the Scoregasms, and subscribe for those of you who haven't. Hit that
Chris.
Pound it out. Yeah.
Chris hasn't seen one of these since the Eisenhower administration.
I don't think so either. I think Ari's definitely had a more recent view than the Fury.
So what are your prospects for this year? What is your prediction for the Scoregasms after week 16?
Oh man, I'm just trying to get into the playoffs because anything can happen once you get in the playoffs. So process is get in it and then go for it, go to win it. I've been trying to move on both fronts to build for the future as well. I think I've racked up some young wide receivers that could be, I guess, what's the word for it in the league?
A building block, a process piece?
Yeah, just well, a lot of people keep like a third, fourth round guy, but I really like the idea if you have like an elite guy that ends up, or like first round guys like McCaffrey are phenomenal, but you also lose your first round pick for it. But if you could get
those value
elite
keepers,
guys like an Aaron Rodgers in the 15th round, or like OBJYN or whatever had Beckham for a few years that low, Michael Thomas being that low, I think that gives you the opportunity to really build for the future.
What do you mean, like a Pat Mahomes, a Kyler Murray, a
Exactly.
Tyreek Hill, those kinds of...
Because then that gives you the flexibility to still,
Tomorrow.
kind of push your poker chips in early rounds as well.
Sure.
So I went after, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, these guys that, even though I'm in the playoff race, I'm still trying to kind of build for the future on that end.
Sure. So in tons of strategies. There's we've all, had strategies pan out, had strategies not pan out, even though we thought they were the right thing to do. It is, at the end of the day, fantasy football, but so far you've managed to keep the hull above water.
Yeah, I'm excited to at least be in the playoff race. It looks like it'll be a pretty good race.
Yeah, you're more than in the race.
There,
You're both currently in the playoff position and fighting for a bye in the first round. So, congratulations on a great start to a first year in the league, man. For sure, it's good to have you. Good to have you on the pod.
I do have a couple more questions for you. We're going to wait till we get to predictions because Gary did go through some of our past predictions on the Jam. We'll have a little bit of that discussion further on. But for right now, we're going to wrap up, talk about the week that was.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And we're going to start off with the game of the week. Just so happens to be Pimps 140, Scoregasms 98. Perfect timing to be on the show, Gary.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not, but for us, it was a week of we had to fill some buys and. We got production. We got to that magic 140 number, and for us, the line is 140. No matter really who we're playing, if we don't score 140, we lose. That's been our thing this year. So if we score 140, we win. If we're under it, we lose. We got over it. We got the win, but it was good to finally get Gary into the arena and playing him and getting that fantasy experience under our belt. I'm sure. The next time we play, the chips could possibly fall different. I just hope it's not during the playoffs this year. I hope maybe it's next year regular season I see you again.
Scoregasm fails to get to the century mark. Not the first time this year. A-Rod and then a little wide receiver roulette.
Yes, team's a little banged up right now, so I'm hoping I can limp to potentially a bye, but with Ridley and Lockett and Aaron Jones all hurt recently. It's definitely dampened expectations a little bit on the Scoregasm season. But if they're healthy going into the playoffs, I think my shot's about as good as anybody.
Yeah.
All I can tell Darren is I want the rematch in the playoffs, and that's what I texted him the other day.
Yes, he did, and I'm hoping it's not in the playoffs. So we'll see how that goes. Well, hopefully, you know what? I'll see it in the playoffs. That's fine because that means we'll both be there, right?
Final Four or championship will work.
So it'll work.
For Pip, a couple of gutsy moves starting Hasty and Dallas. Neither of them pan out. Both absolutely shit down their leg, and it doesn't matter. Kyler's there, Thielen's there, Juju's there.
Yep.
It's a nice win.
The core took over. I again, like you said, it's been injury plagued for me as well. Losing, my San Francisco running backs, my Seattle running backs, I actually had 5 running backs on IR last week. So it's been bad. But I luckily found some starters, and like you said, they really didn't help me. But having Kyler has, so I was able to overcome it really through that Hail Murray really helped too. So
Pip with 140 this week ends up being the second highest score of the week there. She comes up just short of the carrot, really, at 148. Yep. Avengers taking up the sin 148-107.
Yeah. And congratulations.
Thank you.
A financial victory as well. Get a little money in the bank there. That's always nice. But it's it's nice to see your team performing for a while. Some of your running back, whether it would be Zeke fumbling the ball all the time or whatever, it was kind of a little bit, not, just shaky. But it looks like the ship may have been righted in Avengerland. It looks like, at least from last week, it looks like things are on the right track here. I
don't know how you can say the ship is righted. We're still on the outside looking into the playoffs. We're just barely 500. It does. I have always liked my roster. I have always enjoyed what we're built, what we're together. I know there's some holes on it. I know I've got to gamble at tight end. I got to gamble at defense a lot. Playing kicker roulette, just like everybody. But
pretty much.
I feel like my skill positions are pretty good. They came through. Allen and Diggs together has been a pretty good one-two punch when I get them together. So I was probably most happy this week with Josh Jacobs getting a pretty consistent turn. So it was nice to get 2 in a row. They are must-win games. They are all must-win games for the Avengers pretty much from here on out. The Sin, that's pretty much it. We talked about last week about him maybe being out of the playoffs, and this is official. He is officially eliminated from playoff contention. Tried to injure another quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, breaking in half.
Yeah, he's been cursing him all year long, but you're still. The great thing about this league is even at 0-10, right, where Merci is, or 2-8 or whatever, you're still planning. I would hope for that playoff run, because what makes our league really fun with that is it's first overall, right? It's the first overall pick.
Every team here has a chance at the number 1 overall pick. So
maybe you're not going to financially win this year, but you still are trying to get next year a great position with that first overall pick. So,
and that's the premise behind the league. That's one of the things we think makes the league great, is that never-ending carrot. There is always a carrot at the end, whether it's high points for the week, whether it be getting the pick at the end of the season and having the serial draft.
Something to keep you in and keep you focused.
My 2 thoughts to piggyback on this week would be that I am actually actively rooting against the Avengers, because I do have some respect for your team. I don't want to see them in the playoffs. There is some elite top-end talent there that can go off in any week. So it'd be better if you were just
find a man on the
fighting
podcast.
You ever have that house?
Openly
You ever have that house? Yes,
Jesus Christ. Hey, I think your Uber's out front there. It might be time to... Jesus Christ.
My second point of this matchup, I'm looking just cursory look through Corey's team, and I only see maybe 1 to 2 keepers on his team. Is he going to be active at the trade deadline to maybe consolidate maybe as 1 or 2 star running backs to get some more talent?
Yeah. I mean, I have written here, I had Teddy Bridgewater, who broke an empty cupboard. There doesn't feel to be, for a team that I have picked to win, I think 8 out of 10 weeks this year, has fallen on hard times for sure.
Yep. It is a franchise that is storied, and especially in our league. I guess only in our league, really.
Well, there are 2 Cardinal Sin franchises. We don't know shit about the other one. I assume he's drunk enough at those drafts that he may or may not be. He swears he wins quite a bit, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But he's won twice in our league, and he's an original member, so it does. Like you said, these are just hard times for the Sin right now. I'm sure he'll get things turned around, and like Gary just suggested, maybe it would be through the sacrificial lamb of actually trading Christian McCaffrey or something. I mean, getting ready and rebuilding.
I think with this, once this pod airs, he might expect a few text messages coming his way if McCaffrey happens to be on the trade on the block. We'll go from the carrot to the stick. Believe it or not, the stick isn't Poway's 96 points. That again was a win for Poway.
Oh my God!
Daddy falling flat with 75, actually taking the caboose this week.
Well, Daddy, which again, speaking of teams that have kind of recently maybe, I guess we can't beat up on Daddy too much. We've said that the last couple of weeks, but it just feels like that team,
trending the wrong way.
Should be trending the other way, especially with that roster. But again, injuries. Saquon Barkley's out, but it's hit all of us. So, but I feel like Daddy has a good roster. I feel like he's a playoff team.
And he's made the move for Chubb. He is moving in the positive direction. I think it's still one of the most dangerous rosters in the league. I think he's in good position. He does put himself in a little bit worse position, losing twice in a row. Russ and DK kind of leave him flat this week. That remains to be seen. That is a pretty integral part of his team. But I think picking up Chubb is good. On Poway's side, what the fuck?
Yeah. He just wins. It's just win, baby. It's the old Raiders. It's I don't know how he scouts these teams or whether he takes I know historically people used to, whether it be like Charles Barkley or whoever, who used to send hookers to other people's rooms on nights. Or maybe that's what Powell
Lawrence Taylor, I think, had
Lawrence
some
Taylor,
times
yeah.
he would.
Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's like the night before he plays.
Talking to some players.
He's got some method.
I mean, defending champions have that kind of pull sometimes. Maybe that is something he's looking at.
But I think one of the things that we're seeing that could be very rare to see in this league is a team that just consistently wins by putting up 95 points.
Odds would say, statisticians' mind would say, good luck to you because it's just not going to happen. But,
we keep talking about it every week.
Benner did it last year. Billy clearly doing it this year.
Yes, exactly.
I'm hoping his opponents have, instead of regression to the mean, a little progression to the mean with some points against Poway. Starting this week, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
It's an $8 word from the Windy City there. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Regression to the mean.
Again, like you said, we'll get to it, but this is a week that you could help with that curve. So.
Appreciate you bringing the vocab to the jam. For Poway, only 4 players all week got to double figures. One of them his kicker. I just don't think that's a recipe moving forward, but who knows, man? Who knows? It looks like he's doing it so far. Fury, 128. Young and Infused, 95.3. Fury just seems to do no wrong.
Yeah, he again relies on Mahomes and Kelsey, but this week he didn't have them. This week was the bye week, and he's still, I guess the roulette of the schedule landed him on a perfect bye week opponent. Possibly.
I mean, the least points, even though he does have the 2 wins.
So that, but he put in his work and he got it done. And he got the W. And
he loves getting the big day from Higgins. He loves having a and then having a Cardinal Hopkins. I mean, that must have been. I didn't look at the map, but that must have been a 13 or 14 point catch in the end zone.
You would think
with
so,
the touchdown and the catch and the yards
he
and
ended
the
up with
bonus.
like 127 yards, so that definitely put him over the bonus. Plus the 6 points plus the catch. I mean, you're right. It's probably 13. Right around there. 13, maybe even more. I mean, we could.
We could have gone back into the math, but we're lazy, frankly, and that's how we run the jam. But
I'm sure Chris will tell us how many points it was worth.
No, he won't, because he won't have watched this. Sure. He doesn't have a gun. Does that say a gun rack?
Right, exactly.
Absolutely. On the other side, Young and Fuse, Nick Chubb. Wow, going to send him out of the town. Like apparently not scoring a touchdown at the end of the game while they smart NFL move is enough to get you shipped out of Young and Fuse.
I think he was probably immediately after leaving the field, Chubb was taken to the owner's box, probably with cleats still on.
We're going to check reports, and I don't think he got on the plane for sure.
Andrew probably said, that's it. You've been traded.
For Young and Fuse, also only 4 players in double figures. Not only was one of them his kicker, another one of them was his defense. So again, a number, but avoids a stick that isn't fine for it. Not doing much, trying to build for the playoffs, I guess.
He may be active at the trade line deal too. Trying to get some either draft picks or just because to build. Andrew's gonna be good at that. So.
All right, last game of the week, unless you
2
were
deals last week.
Yeah, there you go. See.
So Zorro's 134, OBJYN, another solid performance. 124 is a decent number in the league. Comes up empty. 0-10.
Yeah, I would think that 124 or 125 mark, like we've talked about in the past, is almost like the minimum to get a.
It's kind of no man's land. You want to feel like you're at 137, 135.
Get up to that 137, 138, 140.
Well, you got to feel, as we talked about Poway, if they played OBJYN or Mercy, whatever we call them, 10 times, they might go 5-5 actually. But
it's funny. So maybe a little bit of league history for someone that had just joined the league. You'll remember that Ari had been a proponent of a 2 game per week schedule. Yep. One against your opponent, one against the mean. And he played out a couple of different seasons, and this would be a year this would definitely weed out. I mean, we could go through do the math, but you don't even have to do the math.
Yeah.
Poway would be down in 7th, maybe 8th, maybe 9th place.
Yep. But, the fantasy gods
have spoken. Little baby comes to town, all of a sudden the fantasy gods are looking favorable.
In other news, we actually found out what the OBJYN stands for.
We did?
Yes. It's French.
It is French. And what does it stand for?
It stands for bag of shit.
I believe the translation. Baj
bag of shit.
Entire flaming garbage. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it is a great point. I mean, he's been OBJYN, and he hasn't had Odell Beckham Jr. in, I think, a century.
Yeah.
So
but again, to him, he's probably going to be making moves with a trade deadline. He has already made the moves.
Does he still have OBJ? I don't even know what OBJ is.
He does.
But he hasn't
I
played.
actually want to stick up for him. I think he has a great farm system for the future.
He's built. He's been
Claypool, Gibson, McLaurin.
A fantastic 4A team, you're saying.
But
Yes.
again, having Claypool and then, he gave up Dalvin Cook, so hopefully those picks that he gave up to, that's what I'm saying. He's looking at the future and stocking for next year. So
But
he's
at
reloading.
least his farm's not putting up 70 points a week or something. They put, I think, 145 and 124 back to back weeks.
Listen, he's got keepers. We all know
that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that was the week. Zoros, I guess that we can probably go through that a little bit. It's always the murderer's row when you're looking at it going into a week. Kamara does put up the number. Breeze gets hurt.
Yeah.
Two different directions there. The note I put down, is this the best roster ever in League of Gentlemen?
I mean, I think at the end we have to wait to see what the final, regular season, ranking is here or win-loss total. But I would think, wasn't it Corey that?
Corey went undefeated in a regular season, but lost in the championship game.
So
I think there's been a team with. I don't know if there's ever been. We'll have to get the historian. I don't think there's ever been a champion with 2 losses. I think the least amount of losses a champion's ever had is 3. But we'll have to look that up.
Well, on a cursory glance, obviously I don't know the league as well as you guys do, but I believe a number 1 seed has never won at all. So that would kind of point to your point that there's probably never been an elite team with 1 or 2 losses that has won at all.
Yeah.
And there was a period of time where it was like 3 or 4 straight years where a 7-6 team won the championship. So with the chip in the chair holds true in the League of Gentlemen with the seeded playoffs the way they go. So a lot to look forward to for a lot of teams. That will take us, I guess, to next week's games. You want to do some picks with us, Gary?
Yeah, I'm in.
We chose the game of this week for maybe a little bit different reasons. 2 pretty evenly matched teams, but the 0-10 Merci are hosting the 2-8 Young and Confused in a matchup that is possibly a preview of the Toilet Bowl.
Well, it could be a possible, it could be a first overall pick matchup. It could be the Toilet Bowl matchup, but it definitely could be a Young and Confused fine possibility here if he loses this game. So
OBJ, according to the predictors, is favored.
And I will say this, and tell me if you agree with me. I mean, OBJ and Young, this is a big game for Young. And this is why I say that. This is why I say this. If I'm playing you, which I am this week, it's a huge game, right? You're trying to get the playoffs. But isn't it a big game to you when you're playing a team that hasn't won a game yet? You don't want to be that guy in the league, So this isn't an average game where if I lose, it's middle of the pack out. We're all going to work it out next week. This is an important game for him. You don't want to lose to the 0-10 team. Whereas Merci, he wants that win. So you're right. This is a game I'll be watching for sure and having fun with.
I'm hoping that there's some. I hope they leave it all out there for 2 teams that are.
Are we
in
picking
that
here?
position. Yeah, we are picking.
Oh.
Do you want to lead us off, the guest picker?
Yeah, I will pick the first win for Merci. I mean, I like Justin Herbert going against the Jets defense. McLaurin going against Cincy. That should be a chance to air the ball out a little bit. Even Pittsburgh against Jacksonville, I'm sure they'll probably put up 30, 40 points with Claypool going. And YC's got about 4 or 5 guys on a bye. He might be running into them in the wrong week, so I'm going to go with Merci.
For that exact reason, looking ahead at this game, I think the same thing. Because of those buys coming in at the wrong time for Young and him not having enough talent to overcome that, Merci, like we said, just scored 145, 124. He's, I'm going to take Merci.
Well, I'm going to go the opposite direction there. In some of the trades where we did think that OBJ gave away some talent. Again, thank you for Dalvin Cook. I'm sure Zoros thanks you for Derrick Henry. I think Steve got some young talent back. He was just looking, really for picks and for Saquon next year.
Yep.
I think he's left his roster a little bit under the norm. And I think we take a sweep here. I'm picking Merci beaucoup.
Nice.
Game number 2 involves another kind of disparate matchup. The Sin are taking their 2-8 record into Zorosville with that 8-2, locking up a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Who do you like here, Garrett?
It's hard to pick against, I'm a stats guy, so I'm just going to have to go with Zoros. You can't pick against that roster because just by picking him, you're going to be right 8 out of every 10 times or 9 out of every 10.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got, a better roster. He's got less injury concerns, maybe, with Christian McCaffrey coming back and him being the big. Just all around, look at his point total. Look at, going to take the Zoros.
I think this is a rivalry game that maybe we discount a little bit. I think these two franchises, Joel and Corey, go back further than the League of Gentlemen. I think that they
go back further in the closet than Narnia.
Absolutely. Find a witch in a wardrobe.
Yes.
But I think it's a team that both get up for. I have been riding the sin all year trying to will that team to victory. I think that roster's been good. I don't see it anymore. I'm unanimous with Soros here. Yeah. Round number 2, the second slate of games, if you will, are the Logjam. When you talk about the teams going from 2, 7-3 down to 5, the teams vying for playoffs and playoffs position are all playing each other this week. I think 3 very important games to
it's moving week, and the schedule sets itself up. We just kind of auto do that, but it really set itself up really nicely for this week for us because 2 weeks from now we're going to be getting into that playoff mood, and this is moving week. This is going to be. We've been log jammed all year here. Really, it feels like with these these particular same teams. Zorro's been up there the whole time. Mercy and Young and Sin but they've kind of been. So this is the moment where we're going to find out. This week, next week, really, especially with playing each other, like you said, who's out, who's in.
We have unofficially called some races, if you will. Those 7 wins we have always just inferred on the logjam. It is statistically possible to have 7 wins and not make the playoffs, particularly in a lumped up situation like this. But we are pretty much saying those teams are probably in.
We're not saying we can't take your star down. That wasn't part of this.
We can take it. We're not guaranteeing you a playoff spot. But those teams winning, it is a bye. These teams winning and losing, it could mean their season.
Yes.
So we'll start right there. Furies traveling to Who's Your Daddy. Gary, you seem to be on the ball with picks. Who you got?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with Fury again this week. Mahomes against the Raiders. I think they're going to be coming in pissed off. I think the Raiders gave them their only loss so far, right? So I think Chiefs are going to come in guns blazing, and looking at what Daddy's got going for him so far, I think Benner's going to get the W, carried by Mahomes and Kelsey again. So.
I mean, I can very much see the same thing, and I think Gary's right as far as that game being. Well, of course, every time we talk about the Fury, we say the reliance is quite heavily on Mahomes and Kelsey. But that game against the Raiders, it's a rivalry game, and I think Mahomes will show up, and you're right. Daddy's roster is, hurting and has been winning recently, and I'm not, but I'm going to take the Fury.
We already have a little Thursday night football action on both rosters here, but we're not supposed to speak of that, correct?
I think that's breaking the fourth wall is what that is. Yeah, this is traditionally shot on Mondays, but no, we don't know anything about
this
those
is shot on
games.
Monday. It's just in the can.
Well,
and release it on
either way, I think the Thursday night games still kind of put their odds even anyways, so we'll see it go down.
Well, it's funny, going in the sword, a lot of times we switch up who picks first, but you're making really compelling arguments. I'm just going to stick with Gary from here on out. I got the Fury.
Yep.
Can't wait to go 0-5 on these picks this week.
Well, if you go 0-5, we're going to go. Because apparently right now we've been in agreement.
All right. The second game of the late slate, Scoregasm. Gary, you're headed into the Poway Titans, into that slow it down 4 quarters fantasy the old Dean Smith fantasy football offense.
Smith himself.
Yeah.
The only person to slow down Michael Jordan and Lamar Jackson is Billy. That's it. I hope I didn't, create a little fantasy gods against me, since he actually is starting Lamar Jackson as keeper for once against me this week. But I'm actually going to reverse course. I know you guys always pick against yourselves. I think I'm going to take care of Poway this week. We're going to get a little progression to the mean that I was speaking about earlier, and I think the Scoregasms get back on track. A little bit more healthy this week as well. So.
Yeah, a little bit more healthy, a little bit better matchups even on some occasions. but I could, same for the Poway. He's got a couple good matchups there this week. I was looking at. I think this could turn out to be the game of the week. At really looking at it,
we're at about even on odds this week.
And both pretty decent point totals, right? It's not like 105 and 104. I think you guys are up in the 135s. Yeah. So this is going to be a great game. I'm gonna love watching this game because, Poway keeps finding a way to win. Gary started a small little not that there's worry, but if he loses this week, he's going to start to get a little bit more nervous. So that just makes this game really interesting to me. But I'm going to, in this game, I'm going to take the scoregasms because that's what they do. They score and they have gasms.
They do. For me, I like watching a game that is offense forward. I think in fantasy football, I like to see points, particularly when I'm not involved. That hasn't been the case watching Poway games this year. He's put up like we said, a defensive minefield. Yeah. There are rumors maybe they're deflating balls or possibly getting the surgery to tie him up so they're not effective anymore. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure what is happening at Poway with the ovoid balls, but they are taking their out. They're not scoring as much. I don't know if it's going to affect Scoregasm as far as is he going to get into that down rough and tumble battle, 3 yards in the cloud of dust, and they both end up about 105, 107? Or I think if this game is a high scoring game, it definitely favors the Scoregasm. So I'm gonna stick with the Scoregasm and follow suit here, possibly because I need the Titans to lose.
Yeah, I'll try and take care of business.
I picked the Fury as well. The last one, the Jam Bowl.
The Jam Bowl game.
The Pod Squad. Avengers at Pimps, a must-win game.
I think this is the easiest game of the week to pick because, Avengers are desperate and they usually, come out guns blazing when they're desperate. So I'm gonna obviously take the Avengers here. This is not a need-to-win game for the Pimps. This is just a walk in the park for us. We could afford the loss here, and so I think the Avengers come out swinging.
I'm gonna let Gary go last on this one. This to not affect my decision. And in this case, I know from Gary's stats that I am a worse picker than you. My gut instinct was to pick you.
Yeah.
But because you're a better picker than me and I need us to win, I am putting down the Avengers. That's taking a little cue out of Scoregasm's book. He was pretty excited to pick himself on the pod. I'm going to follow suit there. Now we'll see if Gary's going to break my heart. Who are you picking, Gary?
Looking at the lineups right now, I guess I got to make a decision pretty quick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. R.I.P. Alex Trebek, by the way.
Yeah. It's a tough matchup. You guys also 144 to 130 something is the projection. I am going to go with the Pimps destroying Avengers playoff.
Wow! He comes in and tells me he's rooting against me all week. He's picking against me. Son of a bitch!
I will say that I am going to climb the fourth wall, or whatever we want to talk about the fourth wall with that. You have a good chance with what Murray did tonight. So
yes.
But going straight up...
You're telling me a 24.5 point outcome is a good thing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When it's
like
arguably fantasy MVP this year, you take that.
I think so.
Are you happy when Jordan LeBron drops only 22 or 24? I'd say you take that as a yes.
Hey, man, I've got Josh Allen on a bye. There's a lot of question marks. And I got a lot of decisions left to make. There's a lot of time between now and Sunday. I am nervous.
I can trade you James Winston if you want him at a cam this week.
Yeah. So. If we're to talk trades, it's not going to be about Jameis Winston. I promise you that.
Winston for Josh Jacobs.
All right. Well, I expect the phones to be busy. The meeting, again, this Sunday at the Login.
Yes.
We did have an invitation to shoot the jam live from the Masters. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it happen. But should be a good time. We'll watch some games. I'm gonna have to go to work, so I can't be there the whole time. But
yeah, well, I'm sure it being a work day for people, but it's just something different, and hopefully everybody's up for it and able to Zoom. But ministers of meetings.
If you are not able to attend, you should get a hold of Billy McAllister, I believe, to make sure that we are tied in or everyone working
Billy's
together.
going to schedule the meetings, but I think it's Mayor C who actually does the Zoom. He's our Zoom guy.
Okay, whoever needs to talk to it. I just know that's one thing that I am not involved in the league, and I'm very happy about that. But we do need you all there.
Yeah, be there 10 a.m. Daddy's house. If you want to jump in the pool, you can, I guess. But we're going to be there. We're going to be wheeling and dealing. We're going to watch some games, and we'll cut it up and let everybody get back to their family. We'll try to make maybe like a little 2-hour window of your Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon, kind of. Hopefully, we'll.
So if we're saying tentatively the meeting, quote unquote, ends at noon, that means that would be the latest it would be called. That means the latest the trade deadline could end would be 12:30 p.m.
Sure.
We do have that. As soon as that meeting is called, there's a 30-minute window of negotiation.
And then it's over.
And then the window is over. So tentatively the meeting is scheduled from 10 to noon. If that doesn't work for anybody as far as having to leave or whatever, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right, so bring your ideas, and thanks for watching as always, and good luck this week. We're coming into that. I'm excited because it was a year that we weren't really sure about, right? I mean, not that we are. We're not the finish line here, but we're getting closer to that playoff picture, and I believe when we get in the playoff picture, if the NFL had to, they'd go bubble just for the financial purpose and reason. So we're getting there. We're weeks away from actually probably getting through this thing as far as a fantasy football player this year. So. Congratulations! Let's just keep our heads down and get through this. Happy Thanksgiving and all that shit. I guess we'll see them before then, won't we? No, I don't think we will. So happy Thanksgiving, assholes.
We're going to see them Sunday,
3 days
and then Thanksgiving's Thursday.
Oh, and then we'll see it before.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Gobble ass gobblers.
Don't stand so close to us, guys. We'll see you soon, Gary. Thanks for coming to the gym, bud.
Oh. You know that Joe sucks cock.